ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'll be your host, Highclassprepper. And today we're going to make some grape vino, some homemade grape wine. We're going to start out, we're going to use this 100% grape pourable concentrate. Buy it on the juice aisle. No sugar added, no water, it's pure concentrate. We've got this is actually a wine fermenting bucket. You can use any old 5-gallon bucket. This is the only difference, this got your measurements on the side, but we're going to do 7 cans of concentrate. And after I get all these emptied, I'll fill the cans up with water. Make sure we get every drop. So we got 7 cans, and then we have just under 2 pounds of raisins I'm going to use. Just kind of make sure they're broke up. Just make sure whatever you're making your wine in is really clean. I use stuff called Easy Clean. It's for wine making. But you can use bleach. Just let it set. Make sure you get all the bleach taste out. Rinse it out real good. But you don't want any kind of bacteria in this when you're making wine. Because if your bacteria grows faster than your yeast, you'll have vinegar. But we're wanting wine, so we want our yeast to have the perfect setting. It's a race. Yeast against bacteria. So I'm going to clean those cans out and pour that water off in here. We're going to add total 14 cups of sugar. And I just took some sugar out of my preps. This is from November 5th, 2011. Cups of sugar. Alright, now I have some water on the stove coming up to a boil, and you don't have to boil your water. You can use distilled water, you can use regular water. You just want to try to make it the perfect scenario. The only reason they use distilled water, you know, it's been boiled, there's no bacteria in it to kill off all the germs you can. I'm just bringing some water up to a pretty hot temperature. It probably won't boil. I have my pressure canner full of water. We're going to pour it in here, plus the hot water helps the sugar dissolve better. And we're just going to pour water in here until we bring it up to the 5-gallon mark on the bucket. We're going to stir all this together, get it all good and dissolved, all the sugar, and we're going to put our lid on it. And tomorrow we're going to come back and add our yeast when the water is back, when this mixture here is at room temperature. You don't want anything under 75 degrees, nothing over about 95 degrees. It's about a 20 degree mark in there. You know, different things say different numbers, but you want to stay close to that. And I'm actually going to stick this in my walk-in closet behind the door. My walk-in closet stays about 5 degrees warmer than the rest of my house, and it's going to make a perfect spot to ferment my wine. So let me get the water heated. We'll bring it back and pour it in. Okay, we also want to put in about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Just to bring that acid level up just a little bit. We're just going to add the hot water till we get up to our 5-gallon mark. Now I'm going to stir this up because I really don't have a spoon that'll reach to the bottom once I get it all the way filled up. And I stirred in that sugar as much as I could before I started adding the water. Most of that sugar will dissolve into the juice, into the concentrate. This is going to make us some good wine. And out of this recipe, you're going to get about an 18.5% alcohol. So it's going to taste good. It's going to smell good. It's going to look good. It's going to feel good. So we got it up to the 5-gallon mark. We got it all mixed up real good. And the lid, this comes pre-drilled with a hole and a rubber grommet so you can put your airlock in it. Now, there's lots of ways you can get by the airlock. You can just run a plastic tube coming out of a hole in the lid of a bucket into a glass of water. This is letting the CO2 escape and no bacteria get in. So there's several kinds. There's one that looks like a P-trap on a sink. This is just the one that come with mine. And you can see it's got a rubber seal. We're going to lock out all the bacteria, all the germs. This is going to be fermenting in a sealed area. And you know, you ain't got to stick that lid on real tight because you're going to add your yeast tomorrow. And I just use a champagne yeast. You can use bread yeast. Just use about a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of bread yeast. 1 tablespoon, you know, 1 little speck of yeast will work. You're just trying to beat the race on bacteria. So a tablespoon of yeast is about what a pack of champagne yeast is. Just add it to it tomorrow. Cinch your lid down on real tight. There's a fill line on this airlock. And fill that up with water to that line. And that water will be your seal to not let any bacteria or germs get down into the wine while it's fermenting. Ready to go. Cool, dark place, 75 to 95 degrees. For about 30 days, and then we're going to transfer it to the glass carboy. So this is High Class Prepper. Stay classy, my friends.